I think as a parent, there is no greater joy than seeing your child happy and succeeding in life.
Right. And much of that has to do with education and investing in your child's future.
And this is Chick to Chick. Here we are. Kids are almost getting ready to go back to school. I cannot believe the summer just flew by. And a lot of parents might be thinking, I don't know whether this school is the right fit for my child, whether the child feels like the school is the right fit for them. I know you experienced some of those things with your daughter. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of questions. Maybe you're not thrilled with what's going on. There are options out there.
And that's the important thing, the options. I don't think parents realize. And I also think they need to understand what it is that they really are looking for their child's educational experience, right? So we have a professional today who we think is going to lend some really great advice. We have Adrian Allen. He's head of school for Harrisburg Academy. Adrian, thanks for coming back with us again.
My total pleasure.
Okay, one of the things that we need to know right out of the gate is how you find the best school that's a really good fit for your child.
Well, I think one of the first things is to go towards choosing a school with an open mind. There's a tendency, in fact, just to think about only the school perhaps that you went to, or to only consider public schools or only private schools. I think it is important that you go willing to try all of the options. I think you're looking for a school that recognizes that education is about the whole child. So you're talking about a school in which academics is important, yes, but it also recognizes the importance of your child having a good social education so they know how to interact and how to make friends and so on. And also one in which mental health is regarded seriously. And that is something that's changed recently. I mean, it was a sort of extra, but now I think it's actually fairly central.
Yeah, it's come to sort of the top of the list because of everything that's been going on. And you pointed out there are options. You don't just have to settle for the public school. You have charter schools, cyber schools, private schools like the Harrisburg Academy. I was always very big on communication. I wanted to know that I had an open line, that I could get in touch with the principal, that I could get in touch with the teacher if my child was struggling. How important is that? And is that something that you should take into consideration when you're picking a school for your child?
I believe that that's actually a very important component because, in fact, the education of any student is a partnership between parents and school. And so you need to be in touch with the school so that you are on the same page with them and you are taking advantage of each other's particular knowledge of your child. So you need, I think, too, to understand that every school has a sort of protocol for communicating. And it's actually quite important as a parent to understand that, to get the best out of that relationship. And I would advise that many parents don't understand that you probably should talk to the teacher first before you rise to talking to the principal, because if you don't, you probably get directed back to do that. And a good school encourages parents to be a part of the school, to come and see how the school works. And that is something that we believe here too is very important.
And you touched upon mental health, and this is something that I think creates a lot of concern for me as a parent, whether it's my own child's or another child's. What advice do you have for parents on helping navigate the mental health of the child?
Well, one of the things that I have noticed over my years as an educator is that actually students are often more open with their teachers than they are with their parents. They often tell their teachers things that they don't tell their parents. So it's very important, again, I say, to have that relationship between school and to be open to hearing concerns. I mean, it is sometimes parents just don't want to hear those concerns. And it's really critical that you engage with your school and allow your school to share those things in a non-confrontive kind of setting.
And I think I've found in a lot of cases, if a child is struggling or having issues, maybe there's something going on at home.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't feel comfortable talking to their parent about it, so they confide in their teacher. So maybe that's good that you have that line of communication that the parent can talk to the teacher, and more importantly, that the teacher can share that information with the parent. So let's talk about the Harrisburg Academy. What are you doing there, not just to educate kids, but to teach them to make a difference in this world?
Well, I mean, the Academy, as you know, is an IB, International Baccalaureate School. That is part of a large group of schools who have a particular approach to education. The approach that they use is one in which students are encouraged to inquire, to ask questions, and to find out for themselves. But another really important part of that is it recognizes the importance of both formally providing social education, as well as providing students with the skills to be successful in their education. And I think that that is something that sets the Academy apart from some schools, in that it definitely focuses on those aspects of education.
You definitely have a very, hands-on approach to learning. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
That's interesting. I was at the World's Head Conference for the International Baccalaureate in San Diego last week, and they actually asked me on an interview to say what it was that I thought was important about the program. And I said that the important thing I thought about the program was the fact that it brought the real world into the classroom. And students find doing real things to be motivating. And motivation is the secret to any kind of learning. If you are motivated, you can learn almost anything. And I believe that the biggest element of the IB is this addition of reality and this authenticity. And that is what makes our students excited to learn and almost think that school isn't school. It's doing something important, and that they can make a difference and they can solve real problems. And I believe that is why our students do well. And it's also why our students are being well prepared for the future.
Well, and I think with any situation, if you make it fun,
oh yeah,
who doesn't want to have fun? And the whole concept of hands-on. I remember as a child reading about the Battle of Gettysburg and not really connecting with it, but then actually going to the battlefield and experiencing it and seeing it and going, oh, okay, now I get it. I think that really helps a child learn when they're able to experience it. So give us examples of some of these real world experiences that you bring into the classroom to help kids learn and to get that experience.
Well, the kind of real learning experiences to present them with an authentic problem to solve. For example, we want you to run a farmer's market. Well, okay, we'll need to grow some things to sell and so on. That is a real issue for the kids, and it involves, some biology, learning how plants work and how you should plant them. It has some kind of accounting, it has setting up a shop and so on. And in this particular case, their plants did not grow, and they had to work out an alternative and solve the problem in a different way. And that meant, well, perhaps we can bring in some other sources of food to sell. That's a real problem. And it didn't go the way that the school exactly imagined. They really thought they would manage to grow the things and it would be a sale like that. But they handled that, and they were young, and they were able to solve that problem. And I think that's very important because, we're living in a world where there is huge amounts of change occurring. And really, what huge amounts of change means is that you're going to have the opportunity to be entrepreneurial. I think there's more chances for being entrepreneurial now than there was back in the 50s and the 60s. And we need to teach our kids how to be able to take advantage of that. And often that means being able to pivot quickly and find a different solution to the one you started with.
You know what? I like that because
yeah.
when you said that you had the kids start a farmer's market, I thought you were going to say they had plastic lettuce, and plastic
make-believe
tomatoes,
setup.
and a fake cash register. You completely threw me for a loop when you said, no, they had to grow their own vegetables.
And that the vegetables didn't work out, so they had to
That's
pivot. That would have
awesome.
happened to me.
That's great.
And
That's
the thing
perfect.
about that is, I love this, Adrienne, because I remember my fondest memories when I was in school was when I was actually doing something. I learned something so much faster, and it stayed with me. So I really that part of the learning process, I think, is really key. Now, you guys have some really exciting news to share, so we want to give you an opportunity to do that.
Yes, we just recently became a fully authorized primary years program international baccalaureate school. And really what that means is that we now have the best practices in education for young students available, because the IB is all about taking all of the world's best practices and putting them all in one place. And we're so excited that we are now able to truly go, this is what our program is. We've been working towards that for 2 years, training our staff in this approach to learning, and we finally were approved. And it's something that I think is unique in Harrisburg. We're, I think, the only school offering that in our area. And I think it gives parents, remember we began with how do you choose a school? Well, gives parents another option. And I always say to parents, to be honest, I don't really mind if you go to my school, but go to a PYP school, because the program is exciting, engaging, and people want to be a part of that. And we're actually now halfway through the process of becoming an MYP school, which is the middle years program. And that's a continuation of that program. And I think parents need to take a look at that, because I think it's something which you won't see in other schools. And that's why I say, shop around, look at the schools, see what they have to offer, and take a look at our school and see if we maybe don't meet some of the things that you're hoping for.
And speaking of that, if somebody wants more information about the Harrisburg Academy or to stop by for a tour, where can they get more information?
Well, you can either call 717-763-7811, or you can go to www.harrisburgacademy.org.
Wonderful.
Adrienne Allen, it is always a pleasure to have you on. You bring such a great wealth of information for parents. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Adrienne. Got to get all those W's in when you're talking about that website. It's www.
Well, man's got to do the www. And thank you for having me, ladies. You're always so nice.
Thank you, Adrienne. Again, school's about ready to start again. The kiddos are about ready to get back. And if you're not thrilled,
there's time.
There's time. You have plenty of options out there to make a decision that's going to be the best fit for your child.
Yeah, and we appreciate you listening today. We'll also hope you'll check us out on our YouTube page, like and subscribe, until we are back to chirp about another topic.